This is the Panasonic Lumix S12, and we are at Stoneware Studios in London to film some pottery. Let's get into it. So the top three salient specs that I would say this body has are that it's got 6K footage in open gate up to 30 frames a second. It can do 70 frames a second in an electronic burst mode. And also it has 8 stops cropless IBIS. Absolutely amazing. Then at the same time, they're also launching another camera, which is a little bit less in spec, called the S12E, but it's a lot more affordable. And a lens, which is the 24-60 2.8, also affordable. So Panasonic are doing a great deal to make affordable choices for filmmakers, which I'm very happy about. So let's see how it all works. So right now I'm currently shooting in 6K, 25 frames. This is open gate. Open gate is something that I wish I used a little bit more in my filmmaking, and with this camera I might have to get it because it's just so useful for doing what we do. If you're a filmmaker, you are undoubtedly asked by your clients to create social media assets, and by throwing it into open gate in 6K, you've just got so much more to play with. Your workflow is going to be minimized so much because you don't have to worry about shooting in landscape and portrait. You've got both in one. It's a 3:2 aspect ratio. And therefore, I can shoot this image right here, nice and close, and I've got best of both worlds there. Not to mention it's 6K. So resolution-wise, you're never gonna need more than that. And the image is just beautiful. You can't argue with it, it's just lovely. If you wanted to shoot slow motion in open gate, you've also got that option as well, but it'll be 5.1K resolution. So it stops down a little bit, but nothing to worry about. It's certainly more than 4K, which is usually all you need. So again, really great options for filmmakers in this body. So the sensor on the S12 is full frame, which means great for low light. The megapixels are fairly standard, so it's 24.1 megapixels, but it's a partially stacked sensor. And what that means is that it's better for the rolling shutter, so less of that. It's better readout speeds, faster readout speeds. And the autofocus is so much better. It's actually 1.6 times faster, and it's phase detect, so much better than the previous model for that. It's actually got a sport urban mode, which is going to make capturing anything that's moving fast much better. Obviously here, this is a little bit slow, but it's finding anything that I point it at so easily, which is great. So with every camera there's a trade-off, everybody there's a trade-off. With full frame, you're getting better results in low light. So the megapixels aren't quite as high, they're not going to be in the 80s, it's only 24.1, but what they do offer is that incredible speed when it comes to burst mode. So 70 frames per second electronic shutter and 10 frames a second mechanical. And these are speeds that, you know, are rarely seen. To have that in a camera with such good video specs is really impressive. A few more video specs for you. This can do 4K 120 frames per second, 10-bit with a 1.24 crop, which I think is pretty good. It can also do 5.9K 10-bit with no crop at all. So in terms of file format, of course, you've got MP4, MOV, but what I'm really excited about is that it has internally Apple ProRes RAW. That's amazing. Then obviously you've got your LUTs. It's got Vlog, which is your flat color profile. So if you want to grade your footage, you absolutely can, as is expected. But it's got 15 plus stops of dynamic range, which is great for environments like this where it's quite shadowy inside, not a great deal of light inside. very bright day, and you'll be able to hopefully see in post in the video that it's handling it tremendously well. Currently what I'm trying out is the cropless IBIS, which in fairness, I don't know how it's managing to do it, because usually with any kind of IBIS, what I'm used to seeing is there's a crop so that the image can compensate for any shake by kind of zooming in on the image. But this is claiming to be able to not do that and still keep a steady image, and amazingly it is doing so. Like this is handheld. As I get older, I have less steady hands. It looks pretty steady to me. So just to cover this really nifty little lens that is launching as well, it's the 24-60 2.8 constant aperture lens. And this is an absolute workhorse for any filmmaker who's out there run and gun shooting. Reason being, it's really light and it's really small. It's about 544 grams. It weighs nothing, and it's so tiny, and it'll fit in your camera bag so easily, but it's so versatile. It's also got this nifty little function button here, which you can assign to most things, including if you want to use the digital zoom on the camera, which goes up to 180mm. You're absolutely killing it. I mean, you've got such a focal range there. So for run and gun shooting, absolutely recommend this. It has CF, Express and SD card slots, super handy for filmmakers. It has this really cool articulating and tilting screen. So for any shooting scenario, if you're going by the hip or wherever you are, that's really handy. I love that feature. It's got 32-bit float recording, but you'll need a separate adapter for that. And in general, it's got me as excited as I remember being about the FX3 and the A7S III. They've been out for quite a while, but I still use those cameras every single day of my life, and I love them. And this, it's got better video specs, which I did not expect. It really does. It's an amazing little thing. I've really enjoyed working with it. I hope that you guys have got something out of this today. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.